Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another live stream here on the good old YouTube channel. If you can see and hear me just fine, then do let me know in the chat. And be sure to tag any questions that you have with @here to record as well. It makes it come up nice and clear on my iPad here so I can see what's happening if you have any direct questions. All right, so we're going to try something a bit different today. In this live show, I'm going to go live for the next 30 minutes, a little bit like I used to do, and we'll try that out again. And then after those 30 minutes are done, I will be hanging out with on Zoom with a couple of members. If you want to become a member, or maybe if you already are a member of the channel here, you can get that link in the community tab on YouTube. So you already have access to that link if you're a member, or if you become a member, you can do that below. Then you can jump in and become a member and see that link in the community tab and join us on the Zoom call. You'll see a couple of little faces there. They're quite blurred in the background there. But we were just hanging out on the Zoom call before the show, and we shall be hanging out again in about 29 minutes now because I've been talking for a whole minute. So that's the plan. But in today's show, we are going to get into all sorts of fun stuff, including, if I can remember where I put the checklist, there we go, Cyber Monday deals, a few things in terms of software that I've seen pop up, some of my stuff, some of my friends' stuff, and some things are in Discord. We're also going to talk about new features in Dashmaster 2K, so maybe some new features in H2R Gear as well, and then any of your questions that you may have answered live. I will be keeping an eye on those on my iPad as well as the show goes on, which is always good to see. All right, so let's get rid of that. I've done myself a service today, and I've set up some actual buttons to control H2R Graphics, something I haven't done in the longest time. But I have real buttons here on the Stream Deck instead of me looking for the surface. But before we jump into things, where are people watching from today? I did ask that in the chat before the show. And of course, plenty of the familiar faces come in here. Let's celebrate TV says Southern New Jersey near Philadelphia. Good to have you here. Eric as well here from Rochester in the US, from South Africa as well. I really should get all these on a map at some point because I want to see these visualized. I'm not really good at geography, to be honest with you. I feel like school failed me in that area. So it would help me a lot to see where these all are on the map. But I know where some of them are. Like Robert here watching from the kitchen table in Sweden. I don't know where your kitchen table is, but I know where Sweden and Stockholm is. And Randy as well. Good to have you here watching along. Randy and Robert are the two you can see back there. Their little faces. I like that they have good colors in the background too. It's very clear. Lots of other people coming in from Canada here, like Mark, and Finland as well. Ville, if I got that right. Go Web Technologies. I love all these familiar faces. Germany as well. And yes, Stream Deck buttons for the win. I figured this was a very button heavy day, so it was the perfect day to do it. And El Paso, Texas, Norway checking in as well. And Peter Williams from Kenya. Thank you so much. I think I got through almost everybody there. Apologies if I missed you along the way. Oh yeah, Guz the video as well. Looking forward to having you here on the chat. So let's jump into the deal. Since I only have 30 minutes to chit chat here, I better get right to it, right? And I have all of the stuff up on my phone or on my computer as well, so I can show it off. But I've also created some links and some QR codes as well. I'm not going to be able to point to the right one. So if you're watching on a mobile device, then you may as well just try to type in the URL. But if you are watching on a desktop and you have a phone hanging around, then I would love to test out this new feature that will soon be coming out to H2R Graphics, but not yet. It's this QR code generator you can see over there. So I have created a QR code for each of these deals as well, so you can get right to the site. But the URL is there as well, so you can skip that. So the first one is H2R Graphics. This is my own piece of software, of course, and one of the things I've set up for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then I'm also going to extend it throughout the rest of the week since I'm talking about this today on Monday. Excuse me. And I know a lot of people watch this live stream either tomorrow or throughout the week as well. So I have extended my two Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals all the way through to Friday. So for this one, it's 30% off. I've written that there. Good. I thought I didn't write that, but I did. So there's the discount code that you can use on checkout. and it's 30% off a H2R Graphics license as well, which is quite a nice little deal. If you've been thinking about picking one up, then there's been no better time. And Charles here saying that the QR code works. Oh, I'll just get rid of everything for a second and just show that again. Yes, thank you, Charles. QR code works. Appreciate it. So let me show those again. So you can head over to H2R Graphics, use that code there, and get 30% off of a license. If this is not your first time buying a license, you will have gotten an email from me this week with a slightly sweeter deal than that as well. So if you want to buy a second license or beyond, then you can definitely do that. You will have gotten that in an email, though. That's not this code. This code is for 30% off for first-time buyers, which is a nice little chunk off a graphics license as well. So that is deal number one. And then I'll just jump on to deal number two, which is also one of my own services, H2R Gear. You can head over to the link I am showing over there, or of course the QR code if you prefer, and you can use that code to get 50% off your first year of the Pro subscription. So if you are currently not subscribed at all, not paying for H2R Gear, not a problem, but this is a pretty good time to get a full Pro subscription for a nice, let's see, yearly. So it is for the yearly plan only on Pro, and you get yourself a nice little 50% off discount on that, which is quite good. In fact, we're going to come to this later, but one of the features I want to talk about today is this new left to right mode on H2R Gear, but we'll come to that a bit later in the show. So that's that deal. Check it out. If you haven't subscribed at this point to a Pro plan, then there is no better time to do such a thing. I'm not really much of a salesperson, so I feel a bit salesy today. What I will say, though, is if you may give me a moment to step on my lecturing box here, the whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday thing is quite a conundrum, I think, because it really does push you into buying things that you might not have actually wanted to buy. I wanted to say this before I got into the deals, but I totally forgot. So the reason I've chosen only software deals today to talk about my own and other people's, what I'm going to get to in a second, because I figured that if you've been thinking about buying something and you've been waiting for Black Friday and you're going to buy that piece of hardware, then that's pretty cool. But if you're just sort of shopping around desperately trying to buy something, I'm not a huge fan of that. Therefore, I'm not a huge fan of the Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff shopping. But I figure that software and some of the like digital only goods that I'm chatting about on this stream are ones that it's not creating more stuff in the world, and you can pay for these things like a yearly plan for Stage Timer we'll get into, and then use that for the next year. And I feel a lot better about that stuff. In fact, here's Patrick asking, have I bought anything myself? I have bought, the only thing I've bought this weekend, and it only happened to be because I'm going to justify my own talking here now, but we bought some curtains for around this office space, and it just happened to be that we bought them on Friday whenever they had a deal on their website, but we were going to buy them anyway. We just happened to buy them that day, which worked out nicely for us because then we did actually get a discount. But I haven't bought any equipment, and have I bought any software? I'm not sure actually I have. No, I don't think so. I think I've been wise with my money this year. And again, it's not saying like you can't go buy stuff. If you want to buy stuff, you can. Who am I to tell you not to? But it is nice to think twice about, do I actually need this? And if it's something you were thinking about for a long time, then maybe it's a good time to do it. Aaron saying we've needed new tiles for a couple of years, so I took this opportunity to get some at a good price. Yeah, that's good. And I don't feel pressured to buy, says Eric. Precisely. I'm not a fan of pressuring people into buying things, nor pressuring myself into buying things. So that's nice to hear some familiar thoughts on the channel here. Speaking of Aaron, good to have you here. I really hope this is still available, Aaron. You may have to go make it a bit more available if it's not already. This is your 1 second warning. But I wanted to throw this in here because Aaron shared this on the Discord. He has a series of stress test clips that you can use. They're available over here on Gumroad, and you can get the 1080p versions and 4K versions of those at all sorts of different frame rates and stuff. And he says here in the chat that he's going to make sure this is still available. let me know in the chat, Aaron, when it will be available until. It's okay if it's tomorrow. I just want to know if I have the right information. But yeah, so, whoops, extreme zoom in there. You can use this QR code to go straight to this link, and you can use that code underneath to get 30% off any of these things here, which is really nice. In fact, I think that maybe the link already has the QR or the coupon code in it that you can scan there. If not, then you can use that coupon code, BFCM2022. He's making sure that those are available. The idea here being that this is a series of clips in separate resolutions and frame rates as well, so you can play those back and run them through like a streaming encoder. Let's say you want to test out, what do I have behind me, like the Pearl Nano here. If I just want to play something on a loop to give it the ultimate stress test, then it's a good way to do that. And in the actual videos, these are all moving, static, and changing colors, and pulsing and all that good stuff, and frames showing and all that stuff. And Aaron's coming back here saying, go make sure that's available. And yes, that discount will stay up all week. Okay, cool. So far, all the discounts will be up for the rest of the week. If you're watching this later in the week, then now's the time to jump on it. And if you're watching this next week, after like mid-December or the second week of December, then you may have missed your chance by far. So thanks for that, Aaron. I'm glad you joined the stream. Otherwise, I would have had to send you a message afterwards. Cool. Okay, next, another friend of the channel, or at least of the Discord as well. We have Mitti. Now, if you're not familiar with Mitti, I think, yeah, I made a video about it once on the channel here. It's a video playback software for macOS, and it's really nice, really rock solid, works well, nice UI. I've really enjoyed using it in some testing and stuff, and I also made an in the loop video whenever they brought out the V2 of it. Oh yeah, and here Zephan, good to have you here as well, saying I've been loving Mitti. Yeah, it's a really nice piece of playback software specifically designed for the Mac. And they have a discount code available here with the code BLACK. I have it shown on the screen there. You can use that code BLACK. You can also go to that URL, which is over there. It's a bit of a longer one, so I recommend the QR code for that one. And I think this one ends today, if I'm not mistaken, or at least tonight, UTC time, midnight. So not much time left on that one. But like I said, somebody who hangs out in the Discord and makes some cool software, so I figured, why not share their link and what they've been putting on offer for us all. And then my next button has everything out of order here. Stage timer. Lucas is, again, a friend of the channel. I like to say that, friend of the channel. They don't have an option whenever I say, friend of the channel, Lucas. He has thrown in a discount code as well. So Black Friday 2022 for 20% off the Pro or Premium yearly subscription. I think it said that specifically, and you can try it and find out. The main difference, I think, between the Pro and the Premium is that you can get full custom theming in the Premium version, but the Pro version, which is the one I personally pay for, full price as well. I didn't get a Black Friday deal whenever I signed up for that. 10 connected devices per room is more than enough for me as well, so that works nicely. But if you prefer to go up for the Premium and get some custom theming and stuff like that, then either one of these will work nicely for that deal. Eric saying, Lucas, exactly. And just going back here, Eric as well saying, and I know Ryan Summerfield has put those stress test clips to the tests, doing some measurements of his own equipment and rigs. Exactly. He did use them. I believe he used them for his YOLO box testing that he did pretty recently, which was quite a nice series, or quite a nice video. And he uses them for things on his channel as well. And yes, Stage Timer is so cool. People just love Stage Timer if they start using it for jobs, and clients love it too because they see it come up on big screens. It's a great tool. So good for him for giving us all a little discount if we want it today. And then I think this is my last software discount to mention on the live stream today is Jonas, another friend of the show, friend of the channel, who's on the show every few weeks, basically. he has done, he's working hard on Playout B version 2.0. He's just sort of announced that that will be released in the next 30 days or so. And in the meantime, he has thrown up this BFCM 35% off all of these tools that he makes. So Playout B, Info B, which we showed off when he was on the live stream a few weeks ago, and his Playout B icon pack as well, which is quite a nice little pack. I don't know if there's any images of it in here. I should complain to him to add some example images in there of that. But you can jump in and grab Playout B for 35% off. I'm not sure how long that lasts for either, but I would assume that if I haven't said otherwise, then today is the day to get these deals, since it is Cyber Monday. Okay, thus concludes our deals roundup of the week here on the H2R YouTube channel. That was, oh, and we have a third face back there. I don't know who it is because they're small and out of focus, so I'll have to see after the live show ends who's also joined us on the Zoom call. Thanks for that. Members only Zoom call. Good to have you all in there. So that's the deals. Enjoy. Today's the day to go grab a bunch of them if you want to. And speaking of deals, I may as well just do all the sales stuff together, right? So, like I mentioned before, Lucas is a friend of the channel. And not only that, but he's also a development friend of the channel because we've been working hard last week on Dashmaster 2K. And this is our product for creating dashboards so you can show content up on screens in front of you. So like, for example, this auto-generated one here has a YouTube video playing and it has the time of day. And then it also has this little placeholder one that you can change and put whatever you want in there. Maybe you want H2R Graphics running on your computer, or maybe you just want this completely useless but pretty cool looking map. You can do all that in Dashmaster. But the reason I brought it up today is that we don't have a Black Friday or Cyber Monday deal specifically, but we just launched pricing for it last week. So before that, excuse me, I have a lot of water during this show. Just talking so fast and I have so much to talk about. Before that, we were just testing it out, but we finally sort of crossed that bridge last week to say we have pricing. So we are doing a limited early bird price for this for the next while. It's not necessarily a Cyber Monday deal, so it's not going to change in the next day or two, but it won't last forever, I'm sure. And the idea being, if you go for the free account, then you get some basic features, and then if you go a little deeper in, you get more dashboards in your account. You also get all of our layouts. You can get access to hiding certain features. In fact, I'm not logged in for some reason. I guess we've been testing some stuff. Let me just log into my account if I remember how I logged in. Let's see. Don't let me down log in. Okay, we're back. So I just created this new dashboard and I am on a pro account. Of course, I got myself a pro account of my own tool. And we just built this, which I'm really happy with how this has come on. So this is a custom layout builder. It's a bit jumpy right now because I'm capturing the screen here, but it looks a lot better in real life. So you have all these little boxes here and you can choose a layout that you want. So for example, if I wanted to just pick one of the ones we have built in here, which you can see here, you might have played with these before, but they just they look like that and they're quite fixed. But I can build my own custom layout. So let's say I want a YouTube video to be like here. I'm going to put that stage timer time there. And then I want a couple of little mini ones here. And then maybe I'm going to have like two large videos. One will be here. Let me just delete that. And one will be here. And then hit done. So now I can build my own custom layout, which is really cool. I love how well this is all turned out, to be honest. I'm really happy with that little custom builder. So that is one of the pro features as well that we just added in there, and a few other little bits and pieces in there as well. What did I say? You can hide the header and footer like I just showed there. I can hide all that away and have many dashboards in my account and all that stuff. All right, so that is Dashmaster 2K. So far, we're going to work on it again this Wednesday as well, which I'm quite excited about. See what other features we can come up with and what kind of stuff we can build around it. But for now, that is thus concludes the sales portion of today's live show. That is now transitioned seamlessly into other content. Bogish Media says, "Nice transitions on your graphics. Is there coming new transition types with blur to H2R Graphics? Good spot, nicely spotted. Yes, the QR code and the blur. I wanted to test those out. I just sent them out to testers today to try that out for the next week or two, and I was keen to test it on my own show as well to see if it works live, which so far it's worked well. Now I will say that what you're seeing there is a really nice blur transition. You can see, oh, where did it go? There. It looks really good. The ATEM will, if you used a Luma or Chroma key, it will have a tough time keying that. I'm sure of it. In my case, I'm using a key and fill method into my ATEM, and then doing a Luma key in the ATEM. So it's actually looking really good. So what I have on my PC is vMix, which is sending out a key and fill signal of my graphics. And I must say it looks really good. It was a little bit jumpy at first whenever I launched vMix, but it seems to have settled down nicely now. And I really love this animation. Let me see what else. Hi from Thailand. Good to have you here. Is that a CSS animation blur? It absolutely is. So this is all done via CSS, this whole blur effect, which if you use it in OBS or vMix or software-based tools, it should work just as you see it here. If you use it with hardware switcher, then I would definitely opt for key fill, like really good dedicated hardware key fill. It'll look really nice. No pixels in the blur transition, looks good. Yeah, I'm pumped about how good it looks. This is the first time I built it last week, but I've never actually looked at it on the hardware until today. So I'm really enjoying how it looks. I love to, can't wait for it. Excellent. Question here from Camelot saying, is there an option to add Facebook stream to Dashmaster? Most of the streamers go through there, to be honest. Yes, we have that on our to-do list. I have added that on the to-do list, and we shall add that at some point, definitely. So I was trying to do it this week, and it didn't work exactly how I wanted to do, so it held it up a little bit. But yes, it's on the feature request list. And if you are ever wanting to get a custom feature added to Dashmaster, you can always go to the add option, and then you will see this little option down here that says missing something, request a module, and you can send a little email off to us, and we'll make note of that and add that as soon as we can. We're quite keen to add all the modules that people want as soon as they need them, so just let us know and we will add them when we can. Here to record. Do you have any streaming pack from licenses for several applications? Maybe H2R Gear Pro or H2R Graphics Pro, H2R Gear Dashmaster. That I would love that, actually. I would love to have that. And that was my intention. At one point, that was my intention to do something like that. Like a here to record one account or whatever terminology I would have used. But because each app is slightly different, for example, H2R Gear and H2R Graphics uses two different payment providers, and now Dashmaster uses one of the same ones but on a different account. It makes it really difficult, and the whole like building your own application and then choosing a payment provider and then trying to make that work with other ones, I found it to be quite the challenge. So it's not something that's currently available, unfortunately. But that would be cool. I would really love to consolidate all down and then offer something like that, because I know people want to use several of these tools and just pay once, but it is more complicated than I would like it to be. You can imagine. The H2R One subscription on the way. Yeah, I mean, it's something I've wanted to do for a while now, so fortunately it's not on the way, but I would still love to do it. So that's that's Dashmaster 2K, the new features. Let's just launch in real quick, because I really do want to talk about H2R Gear features as well before I run out of time. 6 minutes to go. I'm not in a rush or anything. I just wanted to do like a tight half-hour show, talk about all the things I wanted to talk about, and then we can all get back to our evenings and weekends. Guzdo says, is a new logo on your back? The yellow light stops too. Yes. I forgot about this. I had this on here for a few weeks now. But I printed a H, a 2, and an R. 3D printed them. And now they sit behind me. Hold on. So they're just like little 3D printed letters, which are really nice. And they just catch the light really nicely too. I really like that. So I had it there last week. You might not have noticed it, but because I didn't have a light on it. But this week I thought I would try a bit harder and get a little light on there. So I did that. So that is the update on the background. What is the code for H2R Graphics? Oh no, did I go too fast? Here is the, no, not that one. I have too many graphics. Hold on, let me start again. That's the H2R Graphics code, but soon enough we'll wrap things up, and you can always go back and see what all the codes were that I showed today. Jonas here saying you should put an LED strip in the letters and let us control them remotely. So that is funny you should say that, because I actually already planned to put LED strips in them, but I hadn't thought about the remote control of them. So yes, let's figure that out someday. I would totally love to do that for sure. Very subtle, but now I see it. Yeah, it is quite subtle. It was even subtler last week. It was basically in the dark. Great idea. I'm going to steal that. Of course, Aaron jumps in with wanting to do stuff that's controllable in the background. I think you're going to beat me to it. It'll take me a while to get around to doing that. Wider wants to know, do you have any plans to have hotkeys for switching layouts in Dashmaster? Even better with the use of Companion to switch the layouts. Not any plans at this point, but that's a good question. If you have a use case in mind, send it to me through Discord or through email, and I'll take a look into that, because I think I would like to know why. Like, what's the idea? Why do you want to do that? I like the idea of it, but I want to know more about a use case for sure. Okay, H2R Gear, fun updates, and then I shall head over to the members only Zoom call coming up after this. Okay, where am I at here? I can show this. So I just released this today, so early days. The first few days of a new release can bring some interesting outcomes. In fact, let me just go back to my shot here, and then I'll go into a plan and see how it looks. All right, so this is a standard gear plan. We've all been here. In fact, one of the features I wanted to show is, this is a really simple one, but I really love it. Up in the URL bar now, you can see here that the name of this plan, ATEM SDI setup, is now part of the URL. Before, it just looked like this. So it would have the URL and the big ID for the plan. But now it has that name of the plan in the URL, which is really nice for searching back through your gear. So I would just say like gear, ATEM setup. And now I use this all the time whenever I'm running like Figma. I use that for a design tool. And I don't want to go to the Figma dashboard. I just want to go straight to my Figma Dashmaster project. So I figured this would be a perfect way to get that out. So now you can just type in like gear, ATEM, or whatever your plan is called, and then you'll be brought straight there. You'll have to visit it once for that to work, but after that, it'll work nicely. Okay, the main feature, and which is a new pro or team feature that I've added, is called left to right mode. So there's a little toggle button down in the bottom here. It looks pretty easy to click. And it switches the mode of the plan from what I really liked, which is top down, to what everyone else seems to really like, which is left to right mode. When it comes to like features that have been requested, left to right mode is definitely up there on the high list. But now it's here and it's ready to be played with. There are some things that I still would like to work on, a few little quirky cable stuff, but it does take it did take me a while to get the cabling up to the level that it is right now on the old version, so it will take a lot of that's the wrong word, side cases, edge cases, that's the word, to get all the little quirks figured out. But what you can see now is all the inputs are on the left-hand side and the outputs are on the right, and it all works just as it did before. You can still add anything else that you want, zones and labels, but it does display things from left to right. I even got emails from people saying, like, you have no idea how many people would use this tool in my team if it had left to right mode. We do not use top down. So messages like that made me finally be convinced that it was a good idea to do that. So those are the two main big features that I just pushed out today, and then I had lots of little small tweaks here and there. One of them is I've made, and I'm really keen to hear back from people in general, I've made some serious improvements to the speed of the application. So the more that you use the plans, the slower the application got, and I realized what was going wrong there, and I hopefully have moved all that burden off of people's computers. If you had a slower computer, then you would feel that hit you faster, and even if you had a fast one, you'd feel it grind eventually. So I'm hoping that I've cracked that, and I will be interested to hear from you if you've had problems before and you could recreate some of those and try to recreate them now. I'm hoping that I've managed to squash a lot of that. In my tests, I've definitely squashed a lot of it, but you know, real world is always a different case. Oh, and I've added a save button back in. It does autosave all the time. Everything you do autosaves, but sometimes on a slow network, that autosave can be a bit quirky. So now it has like a, I want to press this button and I want you to save, and that's that. And that's something people have been asking for as well. Cool. So that's what's new in H2R Gear version 1.21, which was just posted on this fine day today. And I will keep my eye out for any issues that pop up in the next week or so. Let me see if I missed anything here before I wrap things up. Members only access to be able to change the colors of the logo, of course. Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's a good members only perk. Left to right mode with a little geeky face there, Eric. Thank you for that. I think it's like a multi-view. Would also love to see Dashmaster controllable, at least some aspects with companion, change layout, or window size. Yeah, I think one of the things that we realized that it wouldn't work right now for Dashmaster, it's because, and we'd have to make some changes to make this work actually. But if you notice here that whenever I change between layouts, it actually reloads all of the modules there. You can see them all reloading. So we'd have to do some changes to not do that, because I suspect that if anybody wanted to be companion controllable, they wouldn't necessarily want all that in there. So something we'll definitely have to work on. Or if enough people ask for it, we'll work on it. Left to right looks like it would make the constellation for me more compact on the screen. I'm sure it would. That'd be quite the plan. Dynamic size of I/O panels would be awesome for L to R view. Right now, I've got to move the panel to read the full label. Send me some screenshots of stuff that you're seeing, and I will be happy to take a look and see what kind of stuff I can add to make that easier. And left to right mode is much appreciated. Yeah, people really seem to love left to right. I know that's been the way for a lot of tools, but I just figured we didn't have to follow all of the, when I first made it, I wanted to not follow all of those things, and now I just find myself falling back into giving people the option. Alrighty, the last thought of the day. Let's make it a good one. The use case, Wider says, the use case is to zoom into the stage time window, for example, with a click of a hotkey on my Stream Deck, or zoom into the YouTube chat window. Yeah, that's fair. So then in your case, it wouldn't matter so much if the layout changed and reloaded between each one. You just want to make a change to the dashboard. So absolutely fair use case. And yes, On Location Live says that's what you use for most of their designs. So I know a lot of people will be very happy that I've added that. Correct. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for being here live. If you're just joining us and things are happening and finishing early, I do apologize. Well, I guess I only slightly apologize because it's not over yet. We're going to head over to the Zoom members only call. There's a few people, I always point to the wrong side, already hanging out in there. We were hanging out before the show, and we shall now hang out in the post show as well. We'll chat for the next 30, 40, 50 minutes, who knows. And if you want to join in on that call, it's just a Zoom link, which you can find in the community tab here on the YouTube channel. You have to be a member to see the link though. So do become a member of the channel and you can join us there. it happens before and after all of my live streams on this channel. So we shall go over there. But before we do, I just want to say a big thanks to the supporters of the channel as well. The Supreme supporters, Jeremy, Revolutionary Lightboards, Marlon, and Jim, and all your faces as well. Thank you all for being here on this fine day. I shall see many of you, I hope, over on the members only call happening right now. See you, bye.